Okay, I've got another video from my crappy cell phone here, but let's see if we can do it. I know people are going to laugh at this, but I've got an old 20-inch Trinitron. This one is made by Radius. It's an IntelliColor Display /20E. And it's got a very peculiar problem. As you'll see, I'm going to start it up right now. There are a few things on the window. This used to be my secondary monitor for many years, but it started to have issues and a few other things. I'm hoping that there's something simple that we can use to fix this, but if not, that's fine too. But it takes quite a long time to warm up, and it goes through all kinds of ringing and just very confusing patterns. I'm hoping with the amount of television repairmen on YouTube that they might be able to point me in the right direction or hand me a service manual, which, you know, at least give me a schematic to go by. Because, you know, I personally do not like working on CRTs of any kind, televisions, what you have you, without having a firm grasp of what's going on circuit-wise. But either way, I hope you enjoy the show here. Because, quite frankly, it's unlike anything I've ever seen. Yeah, the marvelous thing is, if there's enough space in this memory card, you'll even get to see the picture clear up to a point at least. You might be able to tell that, you know, there's a couple of windows there, you know, like the Steam window that I'm moving around. Or my IRCs, which I actually need to get a hold of. Yes, I know, it's been, according to this, like 3,000 days on the trial version of MIRC. Oh well. Of course, the funny thing is I haven't had this computer that long. Built this in November 2007. Yeah, 3,607 days. MIRC guys, even though I'm using the evaluation, you might want to consider counting days correctly. Just a thought. We'll see what it is in like another 2 years. That ought to be fun. But we're going to go back to the Steam window now for the rest of the monitor warm-up, maybe. But the strange thing to me is the fact that there's clearly an image behind all this. It's clearly synced correctly. But I have no clue, you know, why we end up with vertical lines or these horizontal squigglies everywhere. It'll be interesting to see how this goes with the frame rate of the camera as well, considering it's just a cell phone camera. But either way, I'm hoping someone can point me in the right direction, whether it be a capacitor that commonly goes, or some cold solder joints maybe, or one of 100 other things that it could be. But again, I just don't want to go blind in something that, quite frankly, is just dangerous. Believe it or not, it still gets better after this. and there's still more interference patterns to come. Now I know people are going to probably message here because they have nothing better to do and tell me just to throw this thing away and get a new one, but yeah, CRTs have been pretty good to me over the years. And generally they have failures which make sense to repair. Although I know if I took this to a full-fledged repair shop, I would easily be out, over $200 to $400. Which, yes, I love this monitor, but I probably don't love it that much. At that point, I'll probably just go out and bite the bullet, get nice, maybe 24-inch LCD of good quality. Hey, here's a question for you folks, since obviously you're still listening to this for some reason. Do you know if the Samsung LCDs are still using cheap capacitors in their power supplies? Because I've taken apart many hundreds of them that, quite frankly, they were built very well. They had great engineering. But the place they cheapened out was they used, no-name Chinese brand capacitors in the power supply. I don't know if that's a case of they bought an off-the-shelf part or subcontracted the job out, but the result was a monitor that was built very well, but just had issues with electrolytic capacitors. I like to buy things and not screw with them 3 to 5 years down the line. Like, for instance, this monitor, honestly, it hadn't ever had a problem until probably about, 2010. This monitor was manufactured in 1996. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going around that, stuff in the 80s, 90s, wasn't really built to last, but I clue you, the stuff built past 2000 and on really doesn't seem to be durable. Motherboards have stayed pretty good. But I can't say the same about monitors or television sets. I mean, it seems like it really does serve to have a good warranty or extended warranty on most TV sets these days. I mean, the past 3 big screens I've owned, I have had to have serviced practically every year. Had a Samsung 55-inch CRT based, and its convergence board would go out every single year. I don't know if it was just the fact that the people who I had to take it to weren't qualified to work on it, or if it was just a common problem with, something that would have been simple, i.e. adding a fan, adding more heat sinking to the chip so it wouldn't overheat, but, that should be the engineer's job. But its convergence board went out every single year. I upgraded to a 55-inch Panasonic Li-Fi, and I loved the color. The Li-Fi bulb really had a great set of characteristics as far as the light it outputted, and it was 1080p LCD tech, and it was wonderful, except for its lamp, which I might mention was not a user serviceable object. Had a 5-year warranty, but it went out again every single year. And I do thank Panasonic. Their customer service was top-notch. They did every... right, I ran out of clip there. But, you know, it still progresses. Anyway, I want to, again, thank Panasonic for everything that they've done to keep us happy customers, despite the fact that, you know, something out of their control happened, which was, as best as I can figure, the quality control on the RF driver circuitry for the Li-Fi bulb, you know, wasn't, let's look at my mouse, wasn't up to par with what it should have been for, you know, the light bulb and everything the last 5 years. I don't think it had anything to do with their technology or anything else. I think it had to do with their custom-made IC for RF. But it was a great TV as far as the picture quality, as far as everything went. And now we're running a sharp 60-inch LCD. And we'll see how that goes. But yeah, very happy with Panasonic's customer support on that. They, despite what I saw on the internet about it, they took care of me pretty good. I had all my literature and receipts and everything, so everything seemed fine. Now, we're at the state on this monitor warm-up where the shadows actually block things coming in on the screen. It's just very weird. And it wouldn't be weird if this didn't clear up, but it clears up. But yeah, we're past 10 minutes of warm-up time now, easily. Probably working on 12 or more. I'm just trying to keep talking because I know that this is a very boring video and you probably don't want to listen to fans and noise in the background. But then again, this really isn't a content video, so I could do that without a problem. Change up the image a little. You'll know you can't really. Well, it's actually kind of an interesting artifact that happens if you move the window left and right. If I keep it there, as it warms up, you'll start to see more artifacting, less artifacting, more lines, less lines. It just all depends on where it is in the warm-up. I really don't think the tube's bad. I mean, it would do other things if the tube was bad, right? But yeah, it's very, very odd behavior, at least from what I've seen in my days. I don't do too much TV or monitor repair, other than, you know, recapping LCDs, but I do computer repair all the time. And in all my years of computer repair, I have never seen a monitor that acts like this one does now. Hopefully it'll be completely warmed up before 20 minutes and I have to start another clip. But literally, what's on the display now is actually a black background, but that's not what you get to see right now. What you get to see is alternating horizontal lines and vertical bars of brightness and darkness, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's really difficult to see, but it does ghost horizontally, even when it's fully warmed up. Maybe I'll throw up a test pattern really quick. Yeah, I'll throw up a color test pattern before it completely warms up. Why not? Let's see, which one would best suit? That one looks pretty good. So let me pull this up. Let's see, is there a full screen command? Yeah, there is, but annoyingly, it actually popped up in my other monitor. So I'll just open it up with a different program. Good old paintbrush, why not? I could have sworn it actually had a full screen view. Well, I look like a total... I'll set it's a background. Here you go. A randomly grabbed image off of the internet. I'll throw up a different one in just a second. Just for the heck of it. Huh, I'm gonna guess that didn't download properly. Because that's not the way it looks on the other screen. I mean, hang on. Set as desktop. There we go. Okay. There's a test pattern to go by at least. You can see it's almost warmed up completely, but we still have a few squiggles and whatnot. So things aren't sharp yet. I'm going to move the cell phone camera to show you something kind of weird looking. And hopefully I won't have to start another clip. It looks like I'm going to have to start another clip though. But you can clearly see that there's dark bar, light bar, dark bar, light bar, dark bar, light bar, dark. Alright, clip 3, and then I'm part of another lighter bar. And we're still flickering a little bit, but we're darn near there. So it's taken now over 20 minutes for this thing to warm up to, you know, where it normally sits. As far as I know, the story on this monitor was the fact that this is a actual Sony-built monitor with a Sony-built picture tube. Again, Trinitron picture tube. And we're actually pretty much warmed up. We're still getting a little bit of ghosting, but for the most part, it's unfortunately about as good as it gets. I really hope that there's just some simple fix to this monitor's ailing problem. I'm gonna switch it back to a black desktop so you can see the ghosting, and so you can see that for all its problems, it's still sharp and everything, which doesn't make much sense. I didn't mention it anywhere else in this video, but the resolution I'm running is 1280 by 1024, and I am running this at 75 Hertz refresh.